Let's get to our last guy. Let's talk about Caiden Woullard. Very good player. Now we've talked about the Miami of Ohio defense because we love the MAC. We talk about the MAC. We talk about every conference on this show. Okay. We previewed quite a few Miami Ohio games, right? And every time what was brought up was that very, very, very talented, good defense. And it was led by Caden Woullard. 10 sacks, 12 tackles for loss, 43 hurries. His calling card is probably his pass rushing ability. And going to Oklahoma and Brent Venables, I know that they're going to be able to use that, having him come off the edge like that. I know that they are. This is a really good get. I know a lot of schools wanted him. He's very, very talented. The, from what I've heard, he's a great leader as well, which Oklahoma values. Brent Venables values a lot. This is this plug and play, you think?
Yeah, I think so. He's only got I believe a year or two of eligibility left. He's a guy that knows exactly what to do with his career and to maximize his potential. You mentioned Brent Venables and that defensive staff there is going to make the most out of him. He's a guy that took a big time jump from year two to year three. We loved watching him in the MAC there, obviously making plays all over the field for a really good defense, a really sound defense. Yeah, a lot of guys want him, like you mentioned, and Oklahoma's very fortunate to get him. He's a baller, and obviously Oklahoma has some talent coming in on at the high school level, but also some talent there right now. But I think Caden Woullard is good enough to go, and he's also a guy doesn't have to play 60 snaps a game, 40, 50 snaps a game. He can play 35, 40 snaps a game. You can keep him fresh for third down, and he can really make plays when it matters there in that fourth quarter.
Yeah, and by me saying that he was a really good pass rusher, I'm not saying he's not a good run defender. He's just a really good pass rusher. You need that in the SEC. Like next year, I know you lose Jaden Daniels, the Heisman Trophy winning quarterback, but there are some really good quarterbacks in the SEC next year. Like really good. Like Brady Cook, we know is better than we thought he was going to be a year ago today, right? Quinn Ewers, Connor Wigman still hasn't played a full season yet. You got Jalen Milroe coming back. Carson Beck's a dog. Nico is kind of a dude. Like you got some really, really, really good quarterbacks in the SEC. You gotta find ways to get to them. You gotta find ways to get to them. And that means pass rushers. You do see a decent amount of really good pass rushers in the portal nowadays because it feels like there are just a lot of them. There are a lot of good pass rushers. And I don't know where I was going with that. But Caden Woullard is one of them, right? So Oklahoma getting him is definitely huge. Brent Venables is going to love him. Now it's a big loss for Miami. It's a big loss for Miami. But Miami doesn't lose a ton. They could have lost a ton. I mean, they just won the MAC championship. You would think that teams would pick their roster apart. Pick it apart. Caden Woullard is probably their biggest loss that they've had. The biggest loss. And their running back, Amos. I believe it. But he hasn't committed anywhere, I don't think. So yeah. Any thoughts like how but it feels like the sacks were pretty evenly. He was a leading sack getter, right, for Miami. But there was production from everywhere for that Miami defense. So as big of a loss as this seems, I think Miami can maybe get past it. You have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, they did a good job. They brought some guys from distance, Ty Wise, Matt Salopek. They do a good job of disguising blitzes and being able to be creative and making and getting after the quarterback there in the MAC. Obviously, yeah, not to diminish the talent and the playmaking ability of Caden Woolard, but yeah, I believe in that coaching staff there at Miami, Ohio. I think they'll be pretty good for next year. Obviously, one of the contenders, like they always are in the MAC. And obviously, does Brett Gabbard have anher year? I know this is off
Yeah, he
topic, but
does. Yeah, he
okay, good,
does.
good. He
That's all
deserves it
you
more
need to
than
know, right?
yeah. Just as long as those other quarterbacks are not playing for you. But yeah, no, this is awesome for Oklahoma, for Caden. Happy for both those guys, but Miami will be okay.